much joy are you finding, not only in winning, which obviously is a major source of joy, but the way you're winning with this running game?
I think, well, my source of joy comes from just everything. It's the journey with the people, and this year has been a great source of joy because we go through an adverse time, and what do you learn? And the guys have really leaned on each other to really execute. I mean, ultimately, I think we're only as good as the people around us and the people who help us. So, like, for me, I know I got a lot of joy, especially this year. I've seen tremendous growth out of the offensive staff, like the young assistants we got: Chandler Henley, Max McCaffrey, Jonathan Krause, Rob Everett, Lem Jean-Pierre, and Rome Sapolo. Like, they make my life easier, and they help with the prep of the opponent, and that allows us to streamline messaging. We're able to help the players be more locked in so we can be able to execute.
Are you able to share if there was any point, not to probe into private conversations, but was there any point this year where you encouraged Mike to go to more of the style that you have now in terms of run heavy?
I don't think it's like necessarily encourage him, but it's you're noticing trends. So I think after the Cleveland game, Cleveland was the top 5 rushing team, and the first 4 runs we had were like for 52 yards, and there was the big one to Devon. But I think the big thing that we learned, the first run we had went for 4, and because we motioned, we were mistargeted. But if we were targeted correctly, it was you could see the lane that was coming, and you could see it was potential versus reality. Reality is we weren't getting everything done, but the potential was what we see right now. It's our ability to run the football. I think that after Cleveland, we really honed in on that and making sure that we were able to maximize the opportunities. And I give credit to the staff, the players, everyone for just really being able to execute each week.
What separates Devon, in your opinion, especially considering some of the guys you've worked with Bush, Forte, Jacobs, some of those guys? What separates Devon?
I think it's really his vision and his feel and instincts in space. So it goes all the way back to A&M in the evaluation process. As you can see, when he's running, he has elite instincts and feel to where people are, where they're moving, and able to use his acceleration to find edges and be able to cut. So, I remember vividly still to this day in his value. He was a run versus LSU. It wasn't a huge run, but he was running to the right, and he could feel the backside backer flying over the top, and then he felt him. He tempoed down to set his lineman back up to get back on the block and reaccelerate. I think it was like a 14 or 15 yard run. But the fact at which he felt the backer was going to overrun him, and he kind of tempoed. He didn't slow down. He kind of tempoed it to let his lineman be able to catch up to it, slow the backer down. That's when you know a guy has this feel and instincts in space, and I think that's just something that really separates him from a lot of the guys.
Oh, sorry, Coach.
No worries.
What do you think is different from this year compared to last year? Because he and Mike had talked a little bit about him leaving some yards in the field and some meat on the bone. Do you think that was just a circumstance from last year that's different from what it was this year? Like, how did that change?
I think it comes down to really last year, like I think the thing that you guys mentioned the other week was, the consistency of the guys who are up front. I mean, he's able to play with the guys on the left side and, the right side for several weeks. And when you have that consistency, it allows you to be able to have the conversations of how things are going to play out. And then when you get that connection of how they're going to fit things, how they're going to block, how your track and your press can set it up. And when you get into a groove running the football, it's kind of, the concepts we're going to use and how we're going to move the pieces. And then I think that helps because you get just more reps at doing the same things over and over again.
Frank, you guys have started taking the ball after winning the coin toss instead of deferring. Has that factored into your recent success at all, do you think?
No, I don't know necessarily. I just know that we feel offensively we want to come out and start fast, and I think that plays into that. But, I think the guys like to get on the field and get rolling. So, I think each week, though, we look at and weigh variables, what's going on. Is there weather? Is there this, wind? You try and weigh all that stuff, too, as we're going through it.
Sorry, David. What about scoring first? You guys have scored first in each of the last 6 games, not always on your first possession, but you have scored first. Has that made a difference in your success?
I think it makes a point for team success, all right, because then you're able to play complementary football and work with each other. So I think ultimately that's one thing that I think that through the adverse times we learn, how do we need to play together as a team? And for us to be able to score touchdowns is obviously our number one goal.
How comfortable did Devon look in practice yesterday with the ailing ribs, and if he did experiment with the flak jacket a little bit?
He looked great. Yes, he looked great. he had a very good run.
He was gonna give us more.
Yeah, I was like, he had a very good run and a good cut. I was like, okay.
I didn't want to interrupt that. Yeah. So you fully expect
Barry, that brought me a lot of joy.
Oh, that's good. So you expect him out there Monday.
Yeah, I think working through the process, but I don't see anything that potentially is going to hold him back.
Excellent. And with Jaylen Wright, the skills specifically that you guys like about him. I know Mike talked yesterday about how strong he's been in practice, but what's the skill set there which you like about him?
I think going all the way back to Tennessee, like if you go back to the first play of the Georgia game, his last year, I mean, he took a 75-yard run for a touchdown. I mean, it's his ability to, when he's on his track, put his foot down and accelerate. I mean, he has high-end acceleration, and a lot of running back, it's when you put your foot down, the speed and the burst is that your ability to change the angle of the defender, and that's something that he really possesses, and he's got power on contact, which you really saw his rookie year. I think the Tennessee game on Monday night, he had some runs right up the middle of the defense where you feel his power on contact. But ultimately, I think the thing you're looking for when you see zone runners is their ability to, when they're running, press their angle, and then when they make their cut, their acceleration when they make the cut, and he's really very good at it.
You mentioned the instincts that Devon Achane has. That's not something you can coach, correct? Like, I feel like that's something that is just internal to you. So when you were evaluating him, where did that rank in terms of the advantages of picking him?
It's kind of like when you go into all evaluation of players, there's certain physical intangibles that you're always looking for, but then you're going, what are the things that are intangible that different guys possess? Some guys have elite grit, determination. Some guys have instincts, feel. Some guys, when the ball's in the air, like it looks like it's moving slow, and they go get it. Quarterbacks throwing it before the guy's in the area. So there's like a lot of different things that you could say intangibly relate to everyone's skill set. So when you have a runner who has speed, acceleration, burst, that especially for him, that instinct and feel in space, I mean, those are things obviously that you highly value, and I think that a lot of elite runners possess that. I mean, I remember when Josh Jacobs was a rookie. I mean, the one thing he possessed, I mean, we're playing in Green Bay and we're running a run. There's a linebacker unblocked right at the line of scrimmage, and he made a decision that really told his teammates how he plays. He put his foot down and lowered and flat back that guy, and that was like, okay, we got a legit guy who's going to bring power on contact. That's one thing Josh has, is the power on contact, where Devon can see that and then see what he's got, set an edge, burst, and get around him, where Josh is like, see if you can tackle me. You know what I mean? So each guy's got different possessions of their skill sets, and that's where I think Devon, his understanding of space, angles, and instincts is really elite.
Mike mentioned in scouting him that he asked him about a certain play, and Devon spit out like 15 sentences or something about what he saw during the play. Has his processing ability even developed a lot past that over the last few years?
No, I don't think it's like you get used to the speed of the game as a rookie. Like certain things move, especially things are more condensed. Like college football nowadays is like they're all over the place, wide. So it makes seeing things a little bit easier as you come in the pro ball and it's condensed and we're moving pieces around. You got to get used to space and feel. I mean, I remember when he was either a rookie or a second year, there was someone coming downhill who was going to be unblocked in the hole. He was looking to the left. He was setting his cut on him in practice. He was setting his cut because he said, well, I knew no one was going to block him, so I was setting him up I was trying to figure out what angle I could get. So I think with him, it's just something that you have it, and then it just builds as you're connecting back to everything.
Jonah explained to us that there was a particular play that he was proud of because in his study he had come to believe that this pass rusher was going to attack him in a certain way, and that it played out exactly as he had prepared for it. Are you seeing more and more of that from him?
Yes. I think it played back into what we talked about the other week, is like knowing when to extract, when to use, and then when to be able to implement. So I know through my study, I think he's going to do this. So now I know when to hit him with a hammer, or maybe I got to be a little careful. Like that's where you're just knowing when to implement a certain set, or you can alert to the guy next to you, or you just know it's time to, check whoop ass and freaking get on him. So I think that's what you're ultimately saying. And unfortunately, like rookies, you learn a lot through the failure, and he has a high-end grit and mental toughness, and I think that's one thing that people take for granted with him.
Frank, the one thing that hasn't been great during the winning streak is third down conversions. Are you seeing any kind of trend or recurring issue?
And it's just, some of it is just, off here, off there. It's not like necessarily one thing, but it's one thing obviously that we want to make sure we improve on, just because run efficiency, being able to score more this last week, and then just third down obviously keeps us on the field. So that's an area we want to improve on. But I wouldn't say it's just necessarily one thing, because right when you say it's going to be one thing, then it's like, we got protection through here, or he got rerouted, or, we didn't get the right coverage that we were expecting. It's not necessarily just one thing in general.